They hid the truth in shadows, but every heart can find its light. We heard the silence and the quiet, feelings lost behind a veil of doubt. Step by step, our voices growing, breaking chains they tried to keep us bound. Every whispered lie can't hide the hope we hold. Every gentle truth will guide us through the cold. Like dawn across the darkest night, we lift our dreams into the sky. One heart, one voice will shine the light. Together rising, we will find the why. Steps of courage move the mountains. Softest words can break the mold. In each seed of truth we're planting, see the world transform before it's cold. Gather all our hopes and dreams, reach out in love and let it be. One tart across the darkest night, we lift our dreams into the sky. One heart, one voice will shine a light. Together rising, we will find our own. Hand in hand, standing through the sky. Together rising, we will find the why.
Brian is innocent. Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
Woo, that the state wants to hide. What does the state want to hide in Idaho in the IDAHO4 Brian Koberger case, y'all? Elaine, welcome, girlfriend. You are our brand new member. We are so happy that you are here. And that is the perfect opportunity for me to let you know that there will be some incoming member-only content. It will be a place where we can freely discuss what we want because we're going to be behind. And if you want to pay to be a hater, then so be it. But you are only going to get to see some content that nobody else is sharing because I'm not afraid to share. So welcome in. If you've never seen my stream, heard my stream, watched any of my videos, I'm so glad you found me. Definitely come into our nest. We are the nesters. We fell out of the nest and now we fell into this nest. We are nesters. So I want to welcome everyone in today. Critic Rick, you are like always on the ball, 22 minutes early. Too hilarious. No talkie before coffee. I had no caffeine today, y'all. None. I'm so proud of myself because I think I had too much yesterday and it kept me awake for a little bit until I could finally rest early this morning. Caleb, welcome back. Good to see you again. Yes, it is going to be a thrilling Thursday since the month of October is Halloween and spooky and mystery. This is going to be a mystery live too. And boy, do I have some mystery for you. So welcome in every single one of you. Karen, JG Girl 22. Hello. Get that coffee, grab whatever you want. Scone. I make some really awesome scones, y'all. Some sourdough toast, whatever it is you're going to grab. A really good almond biscotti. Oh my gosh. Grab it, sit down. Let's have coffee together. I'll have my water this morning, unfortunately. Amanda, good morning or afternoon, wherever you may be. I'm on a little early today. I've got some massive updates for you. Eyes wide open. Welcome in. OG Dina in the house. and a few others are joining us today. I got a really interesting email last night. I'll share that with you later. Karen, Lisa, my pal Sal, Vintage, welcome in. And obviously, if you are a at-home individual and you run a small business, feel free to go ahead and plug your business. We're all about community. Let us share and share alike. I need coffee IV. I don't even know if they make those, do they? The coffee IV. All right, pure adrenaline going on this morning. So I just want to say how much I appreciate every single one of you. And I've got something for you today. I've got a new introduction. We're going to go with a funny of the day. I saw this video and I thought this was so creative. What a way to start the day, especially during the month of October. If you haven't seen this video, watch it. That is the cutest Halloween costume that I have seen yet to date. There are some others, and it reminds me of a cardboard box at the last minute. I literally half an hour before a Halloween costume for my son when he was 4. I basically got a box together. I made him Thomas the Train. I found some suspenders. I put the suspenders over his shoulders, put it into the box, painted the box blue with spray paint, drew on Thomas the Train face, and he won first place. That was a wonderful time to have kids, especially during the holidays, and kicking it off with Halloween. So that was one of the cutest videos I've seen yet. There was another one I found. If you're not on the YT, I do repost some funny. That look on that face when they were trying to get in sync, that was like the cutest thing. I don't know if they were welcoming people off of a tour bus or something, but I thought that was so cute. So cute. Okay, so let's get into the mystery live. How about that? Remember, here is a saying that I've always gone by. We rise through truth, not rumors. We're not looking for rumors. We burn for clarity, not chaos. The chaos haters can stay in their little corner. And in the ashes of silence, we listen for what's hidden. And there has been a lot of hiding in this case, a lot of hiding. Okay. So I want to make it very clear. My banner is there. The disclaimer is there. This may not be the stream for you if you're not looking for truth, if you're not looking for understanding, or you're not interested in hanging out with some OGs that are caring and love our Constitution, or looking for justice. So I did a poll the other day on my YouTube polls, and this is what I asked. Thoughts. Has the mystery been solved? This case is unsolved, y'all. Will the case be reopened? Drop your thoughts. Did you watch my video on unidentified DNA at the crime scene? Did the perps get away uninjured? So when you look at this and what the average 100 and something, 95 votes this morning, it was like at 100 and something. 55% believe the case will be reopened and solved, and 40% said the case will remain unsolved, and 5% said who cares, right? I always threw that in there. So when you look at the statistics, and I don't know if you guys saw my video this morning, but I will tell you there is something going on, brewing in the air, because Robertson in Texas, oh gosh, I can't get the video. Hold on. His execution was just stayed, y'all. And what happens when something like that happens, it goes right back to the trial courts.
Robert Robinson, the man on death row that was supposed to be executed next week, has now been stayed. The execution has been stayed, and the Texas courts will go ahead and reopen an investigation. So this will go back to the trial courts. Because the detective came out, admitted he was wrong, people started supporting Robert Robinson right here. And this shows you that people can make a difference. If you are focused and paying attention to your constitutional rights, there are people wrongfully convicted in prison all across America. There are the Innocent Project, there is the Autism Innocence Project. There are advocates out there just advocating for your constitutional rights. So next time you see a man with autism plead guilty, because 95% of trials never go to court, they take plea deals. But this man, his life will be spared because of people who cared and spoke up.
So when you think about that and you get comments like this is spot on. Absolutely. It has to be reopened. There's multiple unidentified, unknown DNA, multiple people in a car that isn't the said Elantra. This is the perfect comment. Welcome in, Lisa. Hey, Carolyn. Eve, thank you so much for that comment, because that's exactly where I'm going this morning. That is one of my prepared slides that I've been looking at, this vehicle list. And when you start to look at the list, you start to think, oh my gosh, what is going on? Because those officers, if you remember in the body cam, if you were able to watch the body cam, Officer, I believe, Snyder, was that right? Officer Snyder? He starts going around and doing a thorough investigation. He starts taking pictures of cars, every possible detail. Nothing got overlooked by him. Absolutely nothing was overlooked by him. Watch. I mean, he goes up the backside. He starts taking pictures of cars.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Ropes it all off. Starts taking pictures all around the neighborhood. Getting the VIN numbers, making sure he's got every single, yes, Stone, meticulous, very meticulous. Yes, that blue Hyundai parked out front of 1112. Absolutely. So there is a feeling in the air. He wanted to make sure he got every, oh, poor Murphy. I feel bad for that fur baby. Look at him. He's so confused, doesn't know what's going on, sees his owner across the street, can't get to him. Look at that. Look at all that debris in the road. I know I see snow. Here comes that silver car. I mean, he's meticulous. But what you don't realize is, guys, and I shared it the other day and it's caused such controversy, there's debris in the street that doesn't make sense. There are underwear, a pair of Calvin Klein underwear that are seen also in the bathroom inside of 1122 King Road. Whose undergarments were those? I mean, the girls were found with no underwear on. One shoe, one sock, stuff missing. Look at this right here in plain sight. I showed a really good zoomed in copy. Yeah. I mean, how many officers walked by these two pairs of underwear? I thought this was a bra or sock. How many individuals just walked by that? Yeah, Stone, I made a video the other day. It caused such an uprise that Miss Emily Allant even commented on my TikTok post, and it went crazy yesterday. I mean, I notice little things. When Snyder starts walking around, you notice other things, and I'll share those things. I've kept it pretty quiet. But what in the world? People's underwear in the garden. And you know what the craziest thing is? That's normal. That's what they were telling me, that this is normal for Moscow, Idaho, in this area, to find underwear in the street, that maybe somebody was washing them. So who was washing their underwear? It looks like they are not washed. They may be dirty, or they look pretty new laying there on the road. It doesn't look like this has been there for weeks. Doesn't look like it's been there for weeks, guys. And everybody walks by them. And these people over here sitting here, their friends, are just sitting there. I know they're stunned. I know trauma works differently for other people. But they are just sitting there, and no one questions whose underwear these are in the street. And everyone walks right by them. Everybody walks by. Snyder walks right by him. Gunderson walks right by him. Murphy stops and then continues to walk because they're leading him away from the underwear. I wonder if they let Murphy go, that he would stop, obviously, to smell and see if maybe that was his owner. But of course, they don't stop. They just keep walking him. So, I mean, you can go back and look at this, but that is there. The debris is there. Everyone seems to just walk around it. Nobody stops to say, hey, could this potentially be some evidence? It's not in the evidence log. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because everybody just continues to walk by it. Even Snyder walked by it. Okay. So, and didn't one of those cars run over the items? I have no idea. I have no idea. None. I wasn't there. Nobody pointed them out. They're just laying in the street. I know the trash can's over phone, but this is just possible evidence. Possible. This video has been out for months, y'all. This video and the interview, you can even see it on the original body cam that was released months ago. I have been combing through these body cams. Look, Murphy walks right by him. Snyder walks right by him. There they go. Okay, enough of that. But to get back to the cars, there were vehicles, right? There were vehicles he took pictures of. A Hyundai ID number parked on King Road. All right? And when you start looking at that Hyundai, you start thinking, okay, was that the Hyundai that was involved in this? I mean, yeah. And hundreds of YouTubers didn't catch this. Well, I don't know why they didn't catch it. It was right there in the road, right? And you know that I've been writing a digital book. It'll be out pretty soon. It'll be on the website, Justice for All. But when you take a step back and you start looking at things that you're curious about, you'll find those things. So I don't know if you remember, but I'm about to show you an MPD number, 299. And you know I like receipts. You know that that is so important to me. So I'm going to 299. And let me just make me smaller and make this bigger so that you guys can see this a little better. Okay. Is that good? Let me see if I can get it on here. Okay. I think that's better. Okay. So in this incident number, speaking of mysteries, 299, Brett Payne writes this report on 8/22/24 right here, 8/22/24. And the reason he does this is because the defense and Taylor's office wants some information. And on August 7th, 2024, I emailed PR, Support Services Manager for the Pullman Police Department. Okay. Now, if you all remember, Pullman has released some documents in regards to this case. All right. You can go access all those records. You can access them from justiceforall.com in one place, or you can go to all these individuals' websites so that you can grab all these reports. Okay. And they wanted in this report, they specifically asked for information related to this case, all reports, all video, all photograph and notes, communications from Pullman Police Department regarding their involvement in this case, including but not limited to all records from Sergeant Chris Engel. There was a reason for this. And Love's spreadsheet. Well, what was Love's spreadsheet? If you remember, I do, because my notes are really spot on. Love's spreadsheet referenced an email and pictures to Pullman police officers. And if you remember, they had a specific vehicle in mind, and you can go look at my YouTube under posts. The original confidential internal picture of the video that they were looking for is actually there. Okay. And when you go look there, you'll see that it said confidential, but it's not confidential anymore. And let me just pull up that post so you know exactly what I'm talking about. I got to scroll back a little bit, but I'm going to grab it and I'm going to show you that the defense had to have known this already. We're just learning these things, but the defense already knew. They knew what they were looking for. They knew what they needed to prove their case in a court trial, which we never got to a court trial, which I wish they would have been able to get to a court trial. I really do. Some truth would have come out that are probably so important we should have known. So I have to scroll back a little while. I didn't intend on sharing this, but let me scroll back just a little bit and let me grab that picture because this is really important. Moscow and Pullman, remember their little powwows they would have, get-togethers. They would go into their media room and they would discuss this case and figure out, what direction they were going to go, what they were going to do. That's by their own admission. Okay. That was by their own admission that they said that. We get together, we sit down, we powwow, and this is exactly what we shared. Now, in this, let me delete this and put this up here. In this post, I shared this a month ago, and I didn't want to talk about it on a live until I was for sure that there was some connection there. They had already known there was a connection there. But the Pullman Police Department, this is in the records, this picture of the vehicle is what they were looking for. 2011 to 2013. This at the time was law enforcement sensitive, do not distribute, vehicle of interest. Okay. They put this out. They put this out for internal investigators. And they even had an email. This email specifically that was requested was from Chris Engel. And if you go back to MPD department, that's what they wanted. They wanted this directly from Chris Engel. So when you go back to that post and you start reading, this says, do not share this information about the suspect vehicle or suspect, or even these is a suspect with anyone outside the police department, including officers and deputies from other agencies. They did not want this shared. Why did they not want this shared? Because they were in the process of framing Bryan Kohberger, in my humble alleged opinion. They had already known on November 25th, they were going to frame this guy before they even got his name from Payne on December 19th. Now, that is a digital trail of evidence. And the defense wanted that for chain of custody so they could go back and say, look, we all know how you got his name and we all know why. I believe, in my humble opinion, Bryan Kohberger worked on a special project with the Pullman Police Department. And that is where they got his name. They needed someone to frame to protect the university. What? Protect the university at all cost? Sure. And do I have any proof of that? Yep, you bet I do, because I read court documents. And in this court document that was signed by John Judge, yes, folks, Judge, in 2023, they allowed a protective order to be put on the record to protect the University of Idaho during the course of the investigation of this case. What? Yes, a protective order is hereby entered limiting access to records pertaining to statement students, faculty, and staff, records of the University Idaho Office of Civil Rights Investigation. Yes. This can be reviewed by the defense counsel and with the provision that any further sharing of use of records is prohibited. Yes. Absent a specific court order or further stipulation of parties. Yeah, folks, nothing to see here. This is all normal, just like underwear in the middle of the street in a crime scene. It's all normal. We leave our underwear all over Moscow, guys. This is just all normal. Nothing to see here. Move on. There's no, there's nothing wrong here. But in this email, let me get back to it. Here we go. In this email, they also say this information in this report. They wanted the email for Chris Engel, showed you that. This was the spreadsheet they wanted. This spreadsheet showed all the vehicles in these Pullman reports, because this information was requested by the defense counsel. On Monday the 19th and Tuesday the 20th, I received the request information from blank. The files provided contain extensive email correspondence related to the Love Street Andre. This is the Love Street Andre spreadsheet within those documents at that website that I just led you to. And it had the vehicles that they were looking for. They were looking for silver, white, and gold specific vehicle and locations. And Taylor probably was smart enough to know someone was going to figure this out. As much high profile as this case has been, and since February 2025, when they knew that there were 2 unidentified DNA, they had to keep everything hush hush. I think, in my humble opinion, they even went to the extreme to hire some social media folks. Yes, there are agencies that push certain narratives so that they get it out there so that everybody would look away and believe he was 100% incel, alleged, all this and that, and he was guilty because he was tried in the media, folks. Yes. They thought this would just go away. The case would be closed. No one would be interested. But they underestimated some people who value our constitutional freedoms. They underestimated people who stand up, who advocate, who share, who educate. They underestimated a lot of you and me, we the people. Now, did they find the vehicle they were looking for? I believe they did. I believe they did. Do we know which one it is? I have an idea. There is a document stating that a white Elantra was traveling down 95 to a little town. I don't know why, but let me show you on Google Maps. I've shared this before. A little Elantra with Idaho license plates was traveling down to a little tiny town in the beautiful area of Micah, Idaho. And where is Micah, Idaho? Well, it's just right outside of Coeur d'Alene, Rathburn. You got to go down 95. You got to go through Micah. And the FBI requested a report that came back and said, a white Elantra was traveling down Highway 95. And what was it that they were looking for? Right over here in Coeur d'Alene, there is a hospital that they were looking for, that possibly someone went to the hospital in this area. I don't know who it was, folks, because they don't give us that information, but the FBI did give information that there was a Elantra that left out of Moscow and went directly to this area northbound. That's all the information they give us. That's it. That's all they say. Moscow up 95 north all the way into this area. Rathdrum is up right up here, right off 95. But they went right into Micah. Now, I don't know who that was. We can speculate there. That's why I got my banner on. But I can only tell you from what we've seen in regards to the pictures that were taken by Officer Snyder. Good job. There was a Hyundai Elantra parked on King Road when he took photo number 162. Okay, that's all well and great. That's just one of the little missing pieces. It's not going to tell us who it was because we still have this 2 unidentified DNA at the crime scene. And speaking of mysteries, the silence around the motive nearly 3 years later, no public statement from the prosecutors about why this crime happened. You mean to tell me that there's no clear motive ever released? Prosecution theory remains unsealed. It remains sealed. They're not unsealing anything, not even as of this morning. There is no new document shared, nothing in the repository. It's gone silent. There are possible connections to social groups, university ties, academic overlap. And boy, let me tell you the secret between that and academic overlap, guys. There is a report in the ISP that specifically states that, hey, these 3 guys were out and about partying at a local bar. And I'm just going to bring it up on my end because I know it's tiny. And basically what this is saying is that on December 14th, about 2 p.m., not only did O'Hara interview them, but so did, let me go to the original document so that I don't have to look at this tiny stuff. This will be a lot easier. And then I can see my notes. Okay, this is the original document. So not only did O'Hara go, the FBI went, and this is document ISP 61. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. And they are talking about on the evening of November 12th and the morning of the 13th, this vehicle was confirmed to be there, a white blank Idaho registration captured on video as he returned home to ... Moscow, Idaho, 2:48 a.m. on November 13th, 2022. 2 other interviews were done. Not just one, not just 2. This is the 3rd one. Okay? This is the 3rd one. Now, I don't know whose vehicle this was, but if you catch a vehicle going northbound into Coeur d'Alene, don't you think, I mean, logically, that could be somebody that's going back to where they're from? I mean, drop a 1 if that's a possibility. Drop a 1 if that's a possibility. I'll wait up for you guys. Now, in this document, thank you, Court. Thank you, Caleb. In this document, it talks about the little white vehicle. Now, I know that I can't be 2 places at once. I know that you possibly logically couldn't be 2 places at once. And I know damn well that Koberger couldn't be 2 places at once because you would either have to have a twin, you would have to have a look-alike, a doppelganger, or you're just freaking Brian Houdini Koberger. And you can be 2 places at once, which I don't think so. But they interviewed this individual 2 occasions, and they know about his whereabouts on the 12th and early morning of the 13th, and they've got this captured on video cam. So this was not the only person. Is he a triplet? I doubt it. I don't know. I mean, that's a great question. That's a great freaking question. Is he one of 4? Is he a quintuple, or not? A quin is 5. Quad, what is it if you have 3, 4 twins? I've never seen 4 twins, but I'm just saying. So they go, yeah, Ninja Brian. So they go, and I'm going to make an AI image of Ninja Brian for Halloween, guys. Okay, so they go, and this male that they interview is 32 years old. And then they have another male that's 44 years old. These are the witnesses. And then a 36-year-old male witnesses. Okay? And they're out and they're about and they're looking at this, and they basically say, okay, now get this. These 3 buddies are out drinking together. And I'm going to synopsis this. You can go back and read it if you want. These 3 buddies are out drinking together, and I made it a little larger so you can see it. So they were bar hopping with his friends, right? They had a drink at Hunga Dunga. Hunga Dunga, if you don't know where that is, I'm going to show you. And you are going to love my new member-only content, guys. Okay? Hunga Dunga is a brewing company. They serve beers, and I mean, if you've never seen their website, it's fabulous, right? I mean, you can go and you can look on Instagram. You can check out their little events that they have. There's some really cool pictures of where it's at, right on the strip. And I mean, just a really cool place to hang out and go. Well, anyways, these 3 guys are bar hopping on a Saturday night. These are older guys. And it just so happens that they give their alibis, and, you know, they didn't know the victims. They didn't have any contact with them. And then, you know, just some really other things. So then the second witness says, yeah, he went to dinner before. He hung out with his other people. They went to Mingles, and then they went to John's Alley, and they closed down that bar about 2:30. And then this guy walked to his residence. Okay, fine. Got home between 2:30 and 2:45. He didn't know any of the victims, and he didn't have any contact with any of them. However, this one older gentleman says that he had a student in his class that mentioned he wouldn't be in class because he was going to attend the memorial service. And I thought, wait a minute, who is this guy? And when you start looking about the overlap of cross-campus social overlap, I'm talking about shared friends, professors, parties, even conferences. From an investigative angle, there could have been an academic, social, or professional rivalry that went sideways, possibly involving research, surveillance studies, data collection. I mean, think about it. Brian Koberger was selected, guys, for this position at the university. This was a highly sought out position. He beat several handfuls of other people for this paid they give you a stipend, right? For this position. High demand. So what if this motive was about maybe, and it's just an observation here, what if it wasn't about hate or a crime of passion or what else did they say it was? Oh, a robbery. What about observation, like a psychological experiment gone wrong? Is that a possibility? Absolutely. Anything is possible in a case that we nothing makes sense. So was there some possible cross-campus social overlap? Absolutely, especially when one of the victim's sister attended WSU and is factually possibly listed on the internal Moscow police documents, JK does appear, and I'm not talking Jack Katovich, which we talked about before, it's all public record, but this professor goes on to say, and these are the officer's notes in ISP 61, is that yes, they were bar hopping. He was taking notes at 2:30 on the 13th, drove home around 3 a.m. And he says right there, he got an email from his student. This guy is a professor at WSU. One of these guys that was bar hopping is a professor at WSU. It's in their own writing right here. And I start thinking about, who could this possibly be? Of course, I did some research and looked at how old this individual was, because they do tell us on the witness statements, their age, their birth date, when their year they were born. You can go and you can find out who witness number 2 is. Just go to the WSU website. You could see, but I'm not gonna say anything here. So then the third one says that I spoke with so-and-so by phone and affirmed that on the 12th and the 13th provided the details. They met so-and-so at Mingles. They played pool, drank about midnight, and then they walked to John's Alley where they had a few more drinks, and then they stayed until closing between 2 and 2:30. Okay. Yeah, all the Jacks. So many Jack D, Jack Jack, yes, S. We don't know Jack and Jack in the Box, right? Okay, so once the bar closed, they parted ways and they began walking towards blank residence when he began hitchhiking home, located in Moscow, until someone gave him a ride and then located him across the street from his residence. Once home, he ate some food and went to bed, where he stayed until about 12 p.m. All of these people claim they didn't know any of the victims, didn't have any contact with them, and everything was recorded because the FBI actually was involved in interviewing these individuals. Now, what does that have to do with this vehicle, this white vehicle registration captured on video camera, returned home around 2:48 a.m.? That tells me that these officers, these investigators, these agencies had enough information to narrow it down, which they do tell us there's plenty of suspects, there's plenty of POIs in this case. And when you have 4 unalived individuals, there's a lot of people involved. There's overlapping they all want to find out who the perpetrator is. But then there's 2 individuals still unknown. Did the perps get away injured? What's the big mystery here? They've not given us any public statement nearly 3 years later why this crime happened. It is a whole profile. Yesterday, last night, they released finally that they did catch the perpetrator that released the footage in regards to Brian Kohberger in prison. And there's no charges going to be given. Why? That prison footage leakage, it was said that the employee had already quit. So they identified the leak. Yes, folks, they identified the leak that released the prison video, but no criminal charges will be filed against the correction officer suspected of recording and releasing prison footage of Brian Kohberger, the man serving life for killing 4 University of students. Yep, how convenient, right? How convenient that somebody can violate their rights in prison and yet no consequences. Although they did find the perpetrator who did this, there's no consequences because prison officials and the Idaho State Police concluded in their investigation into the leak. So they did investigate, as promised, to the community because there was a lot of uproar. I mean, I even sent an email. This is terrible. This looks bad, you guys. Yes. The Idaho State Police concluded their investigation, and they basically said that last month it was determined that the video was authentic, it was real, and it was in clear violation of Idaho Department of Correction policy. After the footage made its way online in August, prison leadership committed to finding the person and holding them accountable, including with termination and potentially criminal prosecution. But, dun dun dun, let me get my little ukulele here. Investigators said they believe they settled on the male IDOC worker responsible, but even in the prison system, it strictly prohibits filming a security video feed. It was found that the action did not rise to the level of breaking state or federal law. The employee quit their job with the state prison before he could be fired. Wow. Wow. Kind of sounds like all these police, the chief, everybody seems to be retired or went somewhere else before even held accountable. Do you think that's going to happen in this case, folks? Do you think that any of the officers involved allegedly will be held accountable? Do you think that any of the assailants or co-conspirators or anyone else who did this crime, will they ever be held accountable? Will the two ever be found and held accountable? The unidentified DNA mysterious people, possibly in a gold van? Are these people going to be held accountable? Because maybe the real mystery isn't who did it, but who needed it to look this way. I mean, the official story says one man acted alone, but if the motive remains sealed, perhaps it's not about guilt. Perhaps it's about protection. And this means, y'all, this story is not finished. It's only beginning to reveal itself. That's how karma works. The truth will always come to light. And like I said, the story isn't finished, folks. It's only beginning to reveal itself. Now, I've got some random questions regarding this case. If you would like to answer a question, drop a 1. You're not going to want to miss this part. This is the question of the day. Whatever happened to Rosendahl? He's around. He's still in that department. He's still around. I don't think we have to dig as hard as we think we do. Amanda B., you are the first person. Your question of the day is, if you could uncover one secret that's been buried in this case, what would you want to know first? That's for Amanda. Kim, I'm going to give you this question. If you think the truth would have come out in court, do you think the truth would have come out in court? Can't even read my own writing. Do you think the truth would have come out in court? Do you think it will stay buried? Or will it come out now there's not been court? George, here's one for you. Which word describes this case best to you? Cover up, confusion, or conspiracy? Y'all can drop the answers below too if you want to answer. That's totally up to you. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Was there really a knife sheath? Caleb says cover down. Cover up all day and night. Yep. Show it. Show it. Show it. Let's see it. Jojo says number 3, cover up. Yep. Drop your answers. They're all available for you to answer. Cover up the only thing that makes sense to me. With seeing this protection order for the university, I say huge. Cover up. And I agree, Lisa. It is all effed up. It is effed up. Now, I will say a little birdie and not our buddy birdie. A little birdie told me a long time ago this was all supposed to go down around Halloween. Do you believe that that possibly could have been a true statement? Drop a yes or a no below. Yep, most people agree. Cover up. Who cares about the knife sheath? Because how do we know it's the knife sheath? Absolutely. You guys always bring the deets. You always bring this stream alive. I do. I do. 100%, y'all. And remember what I said. The official story says one man acted alone, but if motive remains sealed, perhaps it's not about guilt, it's about protection. Protection of who? I think we all know at this point. And that means the story isn't finished. It's just beginning to reveal itself. So no matter what the haters say out there, keep going. Don't quit. Keep sharing. And I have to do some real quick, housekeeping. Justice for all. We are getting recognized. People are starting to see the truth. We have got to keep sharing this website. You can access all the documents here. Amazing, amazing work on this website. I'm telling you. Under those documents, you can go and look at the videos that have been made. You can go look at all the documents in regards to the stipulation that the DNA was not Koberger's, the blood contact DNA, FBI analysis, no hairs, no fibers, no nothing. You can go and download all the MPD. You can go and look at the crime scene. Look, the underwear was still on the crime scene. I mean, guys, you can't make this stuff up. This is probably one of the best websites out there in regards to this case. And all the emails from Pullman in regards to the case. When they say, nope, Brian Koberg wasn't even in the area when this happened. They weren't even aware of it. And more. There's always more to this case. And it'll be revealed in time. The mystery continues. And I've got a question for you guys since you're all here at one time. I'm so tired of YT not telling me you were live. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not know that. Do you guys want to have a members only ladies and gents live chat where you guys can just talk about anything? We don't have to talk about this case. We can talk about life in general, a gathering place of the nesters just once a week, just to get together and say, hey guys, how are you doing? What's going on in your world? What would you like to talk about this week? What's on your mind? Would you guys like a 1 week check-in? Not like a round table, but kind of like just a community live chat. Would you guys like that? Would you like to come and just be entertained for, let's say, an hour online social gathering? If you are into that, make sure that you become a member. Anyone who becomes a member in the month of October this month is going to get a free digital download of my book. I am right now in the process of editing it, adding images so that you can see this and not have to pay any additional costs. So if you would like that, definitely do that. If you're not a member yet, that's okay. In the month of October, if you do become a member, any level of member, you will get that digital download. So if that's of value to you, feel free to go ahead and hit that like button on the way out. And as always, in the spirit of Halloween, even though for many years I didn't celebrate it, we want to make sure that you guys are having a lot of fun this month. So, as always, make sure that you tell someone, share, Watch these streams because that is the easiest way to share. Latest video by Outcast. Okay, I've got about 10 minutes. Let me go look and see what he's got. I dropped in there last night. I tried to stay as long as I could. I had to go to sleep. I was so tired. And like I said, I didn't sleep well last night, so I'm going to sleep well tonight. So let me see. Outcast, latest video. His live or his just video segment? Big Red, new member. Whoop, whoop. Outcast, where are you? Latest video. Was that the... he was doing the audio of 1112 last night. Is that the one you're talking about? Where is it? Who told me? Outcast. Half Baked Cookie. Is that the one you're talking about last night? Let me see. He did a video. It's 26 minutes long. We'll watch a little bit of it. I'll speed it up. And let's see what he's got for us. Oh, yes. I heard some things on this last night before I went to bed. I heard, did they get Ethan? I don't know if you guys heard that, but I heard, did they get Ethan? I heard that. Shout out to Outcast. Let's see what he's got for us.
Save it. And we're going to wait until this one.
And thank
you, uploads. And now we got it up 400%. We're going to save that. We're going to hit back. We're going to go up 600%. And it's looking a little fucking crazy.
Says
I'm going to save that
messages.
there. And let's see what it should hear to the regular ear. Oh, it's still loud. So now we got a split here. It looks pretty decent. So we'll pause this. We'll save this vocal right here. We did raise the volume 600%. So we're going to take that one and load that up too. It's going to take a couple minutes, but it looks like we're getting somewhat healthy looking audio. I mean, it's a low, but at least it's there. And I'm sure we'll have voices in the flat lines. But what we're really doing is when we raise the volume to see if this balloon looks any different, if it looks the same, there's not really much coming out when we raise it up. Just want to see what this one looks like before I start. So this one looks a little louder, but it does look like when it reaches its top, it's going to clip.
So it wasn't the audio. That's the only video I saw on his. Let me see. Videos. This video, that was the only video I saw. Or Steve G's late messages. Is that, which one are you talking about? Those messages were old. Those messages were old. I don't believe any of those messages are really that important. Which one? It wasn't the audio. Which one was it? This audio that I was watching last night was interesting. Warner, which one was it? I'm sorry, Caleb, you shouldn't. Yeah. I believe she's talking the messages. Yeah, those messages are pretty old, Amanda. They are pretty old and they are pretty out there. And if you don't know much about the individual that was having these conversations with Steve G, dig a little. I used to live about 2 miles away from her. Dig a little. Does anybody know that the DD was put in the hospital in Moscow? I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Colleen. If you've been around, that was pretty old. Does anyone know how the DoorDash driver was part? I don't know. I've never heard about that. Oh, yes. Okay, Dina, it just hit me. There was an update. His dad, he's awake. He's out of the coma. And I will show you, hold on a minute. I'll show you. Since we're here, we might as well. Let me grab it real quick. His name was Austin, A-U-S-T-E-N, Dawson. He did wake up from the coma. His dad said he's doing well. They asked, I guess, for... here it is. This is just 9 hours ago. You guys aren't going to believe what's going on in this case. So I looked in yesterday afternoon, okay, and he said he was doing well. Now look at his recent update. This is wild, you guys. This is going to blow your socks off, okay? He says, keep sharing that I have not made a statement. They are going to try their best to sweep this under the rug. Another cover-up ran by sick, twisted monkeys. This is the kid who was assaulted that was in the hospital. And then it says Moscow Police Department has finished its investigation into the September 24th fight on the University of Idaho campus that left a Moscow man hospitalized. They're lucky he didn't die. They are so lucky. Chief Anthony Dollinger said Wednesday that the investigation will be reviewed by prosecutors to determine if their charges should be filed. There are no arrests that have been made since Wednesday afternoon. And if you go and look, this is on the Lewiston Tribune. Click on the link and it says everything about the investigation. Let's see. Austin Dawson, the 26-year-old man hospitalized from the fight, is awake and healing nicely from his injuries. Dawson was put into an induced coma at St. Joseph Regional Medical Center in Lewiston following the fight. He's a DoorDash employee who was delivering food to a residence on campus when the fight occurred. Now, hold on one second. We know that the university responded. We know that the fraternity kicked this member out. But this happened on campus. This happened on campus. So if it had happened off of campus, would it be a different story? Because I know allegedly, if it happened on campus, they're liable, right? They could be sued. And when you think about this long term, this is just one of those other things, just like Austin Dawson said, they're going to sweep this under the rug. They're going to sweep it under the rug. And it seems like this is what they typically do. And it says the other male in the fight has not been identified by police. Not been identified. But the Phi Delta Theta fraternity did make a statement and that they removed the individual from in the fight from their membership and is working to investigate the incident. Now, get this. I didn't show the video. I only told you where to go to look at the video. But it does look like that guy tackles him to the ground. That Austin hits his head, passes out, and the guy still is punching and allegedly kicking him. All I have to say, folks, is karma's a bitch. Once people find out who this guy was that was in this fight with him, dude, you already got kicked out of the frat. Wow. Now the police are supporting a silent and live auction as planned for November 15th to raise money for Dawson so he can pay his medical bills. Why not sue the university? Because it happened on campus while he was doing a job he was getting paid for, missed all this time off of work, has medical bills, but now there is a silent auction to raise money for Dawson. Wow. I know he's made about $10,000 on GoFundMe for his bills, but now they're going to do a silent auction. Sounds like a payoff to me, allegedly. Wow. Well, I'm glad that he survived. I'm glad that he is out of the coma like we all had been praying for, right? I mean, definitely. Definitely. Thank God for answered prayers. He did wake up. He says, hey, this was just the other day. Hey, I'm alive. I'm awake. Thank you, everyone who messaged me and were praying for me. By the grace of God, I'm alive and I am breathing. So thankful for a good outcome. So thankful. And of course, you can go follow his dad and everything else that they are saying. They are covering it in the local news. There's a segment there. So that was just a really quick update since you guys asked. And Dina, thank you so much for that. Thank you for reminding me to do an update on Austin. So the mystery with the IDAHO4 and the involvement in the MPD is still a mystery that we will be following and revealing. As always, thank you guys for joining my live stream. Be well, take care, and I'll talk to you later. If I come on live, I'll make a post, and I'll make sure that you do sign. If you see my live pending, make sure you hit the notice that you'll be notified when I go live so you don't miss me. So leave a comment on the way out, drop a heart. Be well.
Listen up, the ashes stir, phoenix winds unfurl, seeking truth beneath the blur. Turnings for the lax to meet the blur. Out the flames I rise, wings scorched but unbroken. Truth's the blaze I wield, every rhyme's a token. In the nest we move, hearts stump in unison, searching for the light where the system cuts our wisdom. Built on lies and steel, they boxed us in cages. Now we break the locks, rewrite history's pages. Innocent until proven guilty, that's the oath we recite. Under this constitution we ignite the night. We rise like a phoenix in sync, we claim the street. Nest seekers united, our freedom can't be beat. Stand up when one falls, yeah we got your back. In a free land unbroken, we launch the righteous attack. Justice for the voiceless, break the chains of the seat. Innocent till proven guilty, our victory's complete. System cracked at the seams, built for just a few. We rip apart the scheme, bring the truth into view. Movement swells like thunder, souls fueled by conviction. Phoenix souls aligned, demanding our new vision. Marching on the courthouse, banners paint the sky. Echoes of freedom roar, watch the old guard comply. No more hidden verdicts, no more secrets sold. Every voice is a weapon, every story be told. Innocent till proven guilty, that's our final decree. Under this constitution we stand forever free. Phoenix in the dawn, truth ignites the sky. Together we stand tall, no more asking why.